check over your minutes?
See any changes needed, I'll make a motion to accept them.
Any second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tom, the engineering report.
The only thing I have to report is a brief update that the Governor Corbett administration acted on House Bill 291. It's probably old news at this point, but I thought it was worthwhile to include it in my engineer's report so that you know that the financial limits for bidding contracts has now changed, effective the first of this upcoming year. Bidding requirements went from $10,000 to $18,500. That's for actual bidding. Telephonic quotes now is up to $10,000 to $18,500, and basically you can award at your leisure for contracts or services less than $10,000. The other good news on that is there's going to be an annual escalator, so that it won't be locked in for an extended period of time like it had been in the past. That'll be tied to the Consumer Price Index and will be published annually in the Pennsylvania Bulletin for any kind of adjustments.
So I understand this, anything up to 10 doesn't have to be put up for bid?
That's correct.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't do some due diligence and possibly.
No, I know, but you don't have to advertise in the paper, but up to 10,000 doesn't have to go up for official bid.
That's after the first of the year.
After the first
First
year.
of the year.
Now that's on anything like computers, upgrades, or
For
construction?
your supplies, your services, and your construction.
Okay.
That's all I have to report.
Okay, old business.
What do we have under old business?
Have you gotten any reports from the water company? Tom, you want to go DEP, tell them we're not getting our reports?
Well, I can do that, or make the, right to know request. We're gonna need it so soon here for the,
For our report in
for our
March?
annual report.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's time to get those wheels in motion. One way or another, we're gonna have to, get some better information on that.
We'll check it out and see what we have to do.
We'll go both routes.
All right.
Next, I'll send up a right to know request. If you, wanna put a motion on the board authorizing its filing,
I will.
okay? So somebody should make a motion to authorize.
I'll make a motion.
Right to know request, let's start with that first.
Okay, I need a motion to,
I'll make it.
I need a second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
You've got it. Treasurer's report, Dale.
Debt service First Commonwealth Bank, balance of the 10/31/11 was $993.41. Interest 11/1/11 was 13 cents, and the account balance of 11/30/11 was $993.54. Coupon collection account of First Commonwealth, the balance of the 10/31/11 was $496.30. Coupon collection fee was $22.20. Transfers to the general revenue account of $10,000. And the user's fees for the month was $11,248.03. Account balance of 11/30/11 was $1,722.13. In the maintenance account of First Commonwealth, the balance is $4,373.
Tim, how much are we taking in on that maintenance fee?
That's $2.
No, I know it's the money, but I'm saying the amount is $250
$250.
for each bill.
Yeah,
Okay.
and most of the time we can't put it in our savings because we use it for
That's all right,
for repairs.
that's all right. Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Accounts payable, check them over, see if you have any questions.
What was the bill for on Consolidated Technology?
That was for John Caledonia on one of the motors down there. It's $5,000 we made payments on it. He's paid off now. That is his last payment.
That 21, 22.
21,
paid it
22,
off?
that finished it.
Okay.
We are done with, Mr. Smith.
Okay.
Did you ever get the itemization of the materials used there in labor hours?
No, she's asked for it about 5 times and hasn't received it yet.
And you paid the whole bill and still haven't?
I was told to pay the whole bill because he could sue us for it if we didn't.
Who told you that?
I had a conference with Tom Wagner.
Really?
I
But you
had
still never got the?
I had personal business, plus I had some other business to take care of.
But you still never got an itemized bill?
Not yet,
Wow.
we keep asking for it. I need a motion to approve the.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Okay.
I'll second it.
and all in favor?
Aye.
New business? Scheduling a reorganization meeting, January the 4th, so 6:30, regular meeting after. Need a motion on it?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay,
January 4th, whatever it says.
Next week, so. That's gonna be an hour before our meeting, right?
6:30.
6:30, yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay, rural water dues are $383. I need a motion to pay those.
I'll make a motion.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Maintenance report. Do you have anything ready?
The pump stations, the generators are all full. Rouse is in,
You have it all taken
Lower
care of?
Caledonia, and then they're all topped
Okay.
off.
Have any problems?
Just down at the forest pump station, right at the bottom of the hill there, we're having problems where we gotta get a diaphragm for one of the flow things,
Okay.
get that replaced, but it's still running, it's just leaking a little bit. But pump's in the process, ordering one.
Order one. Right. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. We don't have any correspondence tonight. Visitors' comments. Jeff?
Ken already answered, Jim will be reading, the sewer authority will be reading the meters in, right?
Yeah, 2 times a year.
For the winter time.
Yeah.
Ricky, whenever
Or at
you're
least
ready.
they'll be right on time.
That's gonna be tough to do, just so you guys know.
In what way, Rick?
Just with the time frame I have, plus my schedule I'm working.
You need some help?
And am I gonna always read them in the winter time, or are they gonna switch back and forth? I read them last winter, both times in the winter.
Well, that's our schedule to read them. That's our
Why
time.
is that though?
Well, that's the agreement we made, 2 years ago with the water authority.
Yeah,
We read them in the
yeah.
winter.
Can't switch back and forth? I mean, that's their slow
That's,
time. out
that's,
there.
that's between you and the other man,
That's
okay?
between you and the water
You-
authority. but
yeah,
that's-
you can
that's
check
our time
with,
to do it. That's our time to do it.
you
They
know-
already did it there 2 times.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't want you doing them at all, but I don't have any choice in the matter.
Well, there's a good chance I might not get it done.
Well, that's really not fair, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't see why I gotta do them in the winter time, you know? I mean, I'll switch back and forth. I mean, I bent back, I mean, it bent for them guys a lot, they don't bend for me. Maybe the new guys will, but the other guy didn't.
Well, just let me know, I mean, if you're not gonna read them, we'll have to get somebody to read the meters. I mean,
It's
that's
gonna
the
be
problem.
tough.
I don't know what the problem is with reading the meters, nobody seems to wanna do them, okay?
I don't mind doing them.
I'm not
I
saying,
just-
I'm not saying that, okay? Originally, when I was on here, I thought it was that you were supposed to be just the backup. Then the next thing I know, you have to take your turn reading the meters. And I was outvoted on it, all right? They said I didn't understand what was being said. You and Punk were supposed to learn how to read the meters and only be a backup as far as I was concerned.
I
And it
think that's
never,
the way it
and it
should
never, and it never worked out that way, Ricky. If Punk was here, he would agree with me.
Oh, I know. And I talked to you before about it too,
Yeah.
John, and I knew how you always felt. But,
Well, years ago, I'm just saying before this.
I mean, we're part-time,
The
they're
water
full-time.
company
The
always
water
ran
company
it.
never, Jim can tell you, the water company never had us read meters.
No, I'm saying they always read.
They
it.
always
Four
read the meters.
Yeah.
But I think with the obligation that we signed with that agreement, that we have to.
We have to take our turn,
well, I
yeah.
think it should rotate back and forth then. I don't think I should do them all in the winter months.
It's kinda.
No, that's not fair for one to, if they do it all in the winter time, that's not fair.
Well, that's the time we picked though.
But that's
the
their
time.
slow time too though, Franny. I mean, I think it should alter, you
Well, I
know?
understand that, but we had our choice at that time, remember, we took our choice what periods of the year that we wanted. And that's the time that we took, if you remember at that time, we took the winter time.
Yeah, we
No.
did.
Well, I mean, at first it started where we were reading half and half.
Half and
but
half,
Then
yeah.
it was like 3/4 and
Yeah,
he was reading a
yeah,
quarter.
yeah.
And then we finally started counting me and Punk, and that's when we started saying stuff, and that's where it went to
Yeah.
winter months. And
Yeah.
I just don't think it's fair.
Well, I mean, we have to read them, cause we have the agreement to read them, that's the thing. Well, we'll make a decision, I think we ought to just get another person to help us read the meters. 'Cause we just have to
I
pay
can
the
bring it
water.
up at next week's water authority meeting and see if them guys will agree to help. Or switch a quarter to read them.
This-
Well, they already did your quarter, that's the thing.
No, I'm saying maybe read.
When you
one
guys,
winter,
when you
quarter
guys
Monday.
made this agreement, I read them in the summertime, and then I had to read them in the wintertime, so I almost read them for the whole year.
Yes, you did.
You know,
Because they were so supposedly busy.
Busy.
That they didn't have time to do it.
So I mean, I read them in the summertime, and then I
Yes.
had to turn around and read them in
Yeah.
the wintertime, so I got
Yeah.
stuck, 4 times in a row reading them.
Well, like I said, maybe the water guys.
Well,
And it ain't a bad job, it ain't a bad job at
No,
all.
that's why we went to the agreement, so we do them at this time and they did them at that time.
Well, I
That's
think
why
you ought
we-
to see if you can at least rotate it back and forth.
Well, I mean, we have to read them in January, I think, that's our duty to read them.
Yeah.
I think that's our duty to read them, that's what's on our paper to do. So, I mean, if you just gotta let us know, if we're not gonna do it, we have to get somebody in line. I mean,
Okay.
I'm willing to go out and help, but I still need somebody to help me go do it, so. That's all I'm saying. We have to go do it.
Just let us know by the first of the year what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you
Just
you
leave
guys
us know, that's all, just leave us know.
I don't know my
He
schedule.
has a point there, they're part-time. The water company got full-time.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, we made the agreement that we'd read them in the wintertime.
Well, I think that agreement should be back and forth, where we read them one winter, they
Well,
read them.
Till the agreements change, I think we're obligated to read that meeting. That's my opinion on it.
I don't know anything about the agreement.
Well, just let us know for sure,
All right.
and otherwise we'll just get somebody to help.
It's in your file someplace, isn't it?
That's, I think we're
Give me a
obligated.
copy of that agreement.
I will say this, the sewer authority read them, they were always read within the first week or two, when they're supposed to be.
Well,
And the water company
yeah,
reads
I
them,
think,
basically go a month before they're read.
yeah, we're just obligated to read them, I think.
You done, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just a clarification. The solid waste meter was installed? When we
Yeah.
talked about purchasing.
No, it's not installed, it didn't, we
We
need a
just-
couple new ports, and the
Yeah.
other ports.
We just got it last week or so, and, there was 2 couplers there, where there should be in anytime next week, I think the 15th, didn't they say that?
Yeah, the
I think
14th
the
or
15th
15th.
or they're coming pieces, yeah, we
So
do
we'll
have
have
them.
before Tom does his,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
they should be in the next couple of weeks, they said the 15th, there are 2 couplers with little couplers on the end we had to order, and, they're coming. But the meter's already here.
By the-
Nobody,
Yeah, by the
Oh, yeah.
first of the year, we'll have our own information,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have it on the meter. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Peg? Bob?
We're having visitors' comments now? Okay, yeah, I had a couple questions. I sent a letter back in September suggesting the board, collect the parameters for the Atlas 4 controller setups, the float switch positions. You know, because some of this stuff fails, it's good to have a fallback. I mean, if you have to go back in and reprogram those Atlas 4 controllers, you're gonna do some head scratching coming up with what the set point should be. And the thrust of the letter, and it cited a couple things in the Atlas 4 manual, was it would probably be prudent to go out there and develop a spreadsheet for each controller and for each pump station with regards to the physical position of the float switches or your secondary control, and also the level transducer as to whether it's setting on the bottom or is it suspended from the bottom. You have duplex pump stations, the lead pump and the lag pump. It's important the lag pump set point is set below the position of the level switch to kick in, because that level switch is the alarm. So that's what happened at the Caledonia Pipe. From what Franny explained, you had to disconnect it because you're getting alarms all the time. And if the lag pump set point would have been set differently, then you could have still had the float switches function. So, did anybody do anything about that, or don't you think it's important you do
Not
it?
that I know of.
Do you think it's a value to have
What
it?
you're trying to say is, write down the markings on your set points. So
No,
you
that's
have-
what I am
That's
saying.
what you're saying.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, if
I
you gotta
know.
go back and
Yeah.
reprogram those Atlas 4s, Franny, what are you gonna put
Do you
in?
know about that stuff, Tom? I mean, all we would need is to measure the settings.
Yeah,
Or
level
a
settings
ball
are
bar.
probably gonna be on your drawings.
Yeah.
The settings, the initial set points.
Well, we could make even a little fine copy
Mhm.
drawing. and
I have a
maybe-
copy of them over the plant.
You have a copy of them? Rick?
Leg on, leg off.
Do you have that?
I have that over the plant.
Okay, because I asked for it before, and do you have the physical position of the two
I
float
think
switches
that's the
relative to the
ball
lag on and
level,
lag off?
I don't have that.
Okay, you should get that, because,
Not two people at the same time.
Okay.
Franny, it's your turn,
Okay.
whatever you were saying.
I was just saying, it's just setting the ball levels and stuff like that, right? That's all that is. Just setting the
But-
ball levels and you already have it, you said?
I have that, I don't have where the high level and the low level for the
yeah,
alarm
you
is.
should,
Okay.
But I have everything. I have it on the Atlas control, but I don't
Yeah.
have it where the floats are.
yeah, you should get it with the floats, because that, secondary pump kick in should be below where the float kicks in. Okay?
Sometime you're down there, just mark them.
I have them all marked, it's over
Okay.
the plant.
Okay, just write it down,
Yeah.
make a variable that we have that
Yeah.
for something.
Could you get a copy over here, because I kinda like to look.
I sure can.
Okay. Okay, the second question I had, and I didn't get to ask it last month, you had a bill from Macronics for doing the total nitrogen and the 12-month nitrogen and the phosphorus. That was in the original scope of the write-up. I know Punk showed me that, and that was supposed to have been done back in April or May. And then they were
You know
paying
anything
for it
about
again.
that, Ricky?
No, I don't know anything about that.
But, I mean, you're getting some money tied up in there, because the man's charging you $150 an hour, and
Is
I
that,
know,
okay, is that the gas you're talking about over at the
no.
storage plant, right?
No, I'm talking about Macronics Computers doing the modification on the Excel spreadsheet for the nitrogen reporting. And their charge out rate for the water authority was $150 an hour. I know I was criticized for charging you $50 an hour. And
Oh, that's what we
Punk
just
asked
got
me
done.
what it would take to do this, and I told him probably 2 hours worth of work.
That's what we just got done, right? Patty?
Yeah.
That's-
Well, you got it.
It's working, everything's done.
They did it last April, they did work on it, and here again in September. They were back 2 times in the spring, but
Well, that's the update, that's whatever DEP.
well, that's what they asked for right out of the gate frame. If
But
you
that-
looked at what they asked for, the letter from DEP, that was asked for original.
Your time's up, Bob.
Okay, well, once again, it's $150 an hour, and, I mean, I was criticized for charging $50 an hour in the papers.
Everybody's done speaking, I only have one more thing to say. On there, since we're talking about some maintenance and pump stations, I think we ought to let Tom go ahead and, I think he's done it one time already, that we're talking about redoing that pump station down in Lower Caledonia, to let him start making it up, you know what I mean, and how we should do it, so when springtime comes, or whenever we're ready, that we got a plan to do that.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? We might as well start on, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're doing it next week or tomorrow. And that way, if he gets a plan made and something happens from now till then, you know, even if it's an emergency, we have a plan in place to go down to Caledonia and properly do that. Okay, I mean, the board.
How's that one right at the bottom of the hill?
Yeah, it has to be done like the other one. You know,
Yeah,
the other
okay.
one is emergency, you know, the plan, we jumped in. I know we gotta do it. You know, we might make it through the winter, we might not make it.
How many hours you looking at?
I'll come back next month with a proposal.
All right, yeah, good enough.
Come back
Yeah.
with a proposal.
To draw it all up
Yeah,
and, you know, what we got then, you can get with, Ron and say, hey, if something happens, this is how I want you to do it, this is the way I want it done. And, you know, what do you think? I mean,
Yeah,
I
go
think we
ahead.
ought to get started on that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll come back next month with a proposal, so.
Okay,
We wanna make a motion?
okay, you made a motion, I need a second.
And I'll second the motion to
Everybody in favor?
Yeah, let me get started with it.
at least get started on that, and, then, you know, once you do get it drawn up, you can talk to Smee and say, hey, this is, if something happens, we have something
This
that's
is the way it
planned.
should be done.
This is the way it should be done, so we don't run into no arguments or nothing on how it's gonna be done.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
I mean, you keep saying Smitty here. I think the board's got a fiduciary responsibility to the people of the community. I think you should, even though by law you may not have to, in the interest of conservation of resources and funds, hey, usually you go out and get 2 or 3 different quotes on things.
Well, we had the problem, we had the last one, them guys didn't wanna jump down the hole
Well,
and do this, that's the problem.
Once
It's hard to get people to-
again, even if they say no, I think to protect yourselves
Yeah.
and the interest of the community,
Well, once we get it drawn up, we can even put it out for a little bit. if we want.
Absolutely.
That is no problem at all.
absolutely, I think you
We crossed
should.
that bridge yet.
We didn't cross that bridge, but I'm
Well,
saying. we're
but I
getting
mean,
ready.
you're saying Smitty, Frank.
Well, I'm just saying, what I'm saying is when it's done, who's ever gonna do it, if it comes to emergency, we have it in play.
Well,
But,
yeah, but I mean,
but I
it's
know
not an
last
emergency
time-
yet,
But
and I
yes,
think you
understand
should,
that. But the last
should
people.
put
who
it
were
out to
down
bid.
there- Last people were down there, they didn't wanna touch it down in that hole, that's. the
Well,
problem.
Yeah, bring
I
it,
kinda expected that was
bring
gonna
it up
happen.
next month, we'll take it from there.
Yeah. I think we just start on it, that's all.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
Betty, can I call an executive meeting for 5 minutes?
You adjourn the meeting.
Huh? Okay.
I'm in the adjournment,
Okay, he meant it.
okay? All right, for 5 minutes we'll have an executive.
I got a question. The sunshine law is very specific, which you can have an executive session about.
Do what now?
The sunshine law,
Yeah.
it's very specific, which you can have an executive session about. It can
Okay.
be personnel matters, it can be purchase of, property,
Okay.
and the reason given here was the meter.
He said the meter, but it wasn't the meter, it's what we're gonna do with the meter.
That
But once
doesn't
again,
qualify.
that doesn't qualify for executive.
Yes, it does if we don't want anybody else to know what it's
Oh,
about.
no,
No.
oh, no.
No, sir.
Well, if you wanna know, we're thinking about charging the water company for the dumping their waste.
Well,
That's your privilege.
you can
That's
do
what we're
that.
talking about.
But that doesn't,
Okay.
yeah.
We're just deciding how to bill.
And he.
But once again, the act is very specific, what you can hold executive sessions
We was
about.
gonna put it next month's meeting.
Once
Mm-mm.
again, this is
You
a
cannot.
forum.
Yeah?
You cannot
This is
do
a
it.
forum.
I
You
need a
cannot.
motion to adjourn.
I got a question. The sunshine law is very specific, which you can have an executive session about.
Do what now?
The sunshine law,
Yeah.
it's very specific, what you can have an executive session about. It can
Okay.
be personnel matters, it can be purchase of, property,
Okay.
and the reason given here was the meter.
He said the meter, but it wasn't the meter, it's what we're gonna do with the meter.
That
But once
doesn't
again,
qualify.
that doesn't qualify for executive.
Yes, it does if we don't want anybody else to know what it's
Oh,
about.
no,
No.
oh, no.
No, sir.
Well, if you wanna know, we're thinking about charging the water company for the dumping their waste.
Well,
That's your privilege,
you can
That's
do
what we're
that.
talking about.
but that,
Okay.
yeah.
We're just deciding how to
And,
bill.
and he.
But once again, the act is very specific what you can hold executive sessions
We was
about.
gonna put it next month's meeting.
Once
Mm-mm.
again, this is a
You cannot.
forum.
Yeah?
You cannot
This is
do
a
it.
forum.
I
You
need a
cannot.
motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Get out of here.
Once again,